Well, joining me now in studio is Mr. Matt Chipman. He's the editor-in-chief of the Green Baron Report. Matt, always good to see you.
Glad to be here again.
You know, we've had such an eventful week. I mean, it just seemed like the stock market was on a roller coaster ride upward. It was never seeming to come down. We were closing in on records, and we had that just awful tragedy in Boston and another tragedy in Texas. Two different ends of the tragedy spectrum. One's terrorism, one was a horrible accident. But you know, we know that we're going to recover from these things, but it really kind of puts all of this stock market stuff into perspective, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sure does. I feel sometimes there is a crowd-like mentality when the market goes up and down. You know, people, all pile in. And the same thing like you're seeing with commodities. Now, you remember everybody loved gold and silver. Mm-hmm. You couldn't get enough of it. Everybody said you got to have it. I had people say that gold was guaranteed to go to $2,500 an ounce. Yep. It's in the cards. Well, now everybody's selling out of those, which is not too bad for the economy in some ways, because if oil prices drop, it'll affect us at the gas pump. But I think when everybody gets too hyped in one direction, it's probably good to go maybe the other way for a little while. And I've been expecting a little pullback in the market.
Well, let's face it, the smartest advice in any kind of investment is don't buy when everybody's buying and don't sell when everybody's selling. I mean, you want to try to go against the grain. That's where profits come in. But I know that you and I spend a lot of our time looking at these emerging companies, small companies that you look at that are on this program. What industry sectors are exciting you the most right now? Well,
real estate is starting to come back in vogue. The banks have seemed to have cleaned up their books. I always look for some opportunities in green energy. I think are still out there. There was a lot of money that went to them, and now a lot of money came back out of them because some of them didn't. But I think there's going to be some real successes from that industry. It's hard to pinpoint which business. We look at every business independently because I think there's money to be made in a lot of areas.
When people talk to me about green energy, and they always seem to go back to the failures of companies like Solyndra and Fisker and this type of thing, and I said, if you go back 100 years or so when the automobile industry was beginning, there was 150 companies that made automobiles. And they consolidated down to the few that we know today.
Right.
You go back to when the Internet became a commercial enterprise in 1996. There were millions of Internet companies, and only a few became hugely successful, the Amazons, the Googles, the Yahoos, and that type of thing. That's always going to happen when a new industry starts to burgeon, as is the green industry.
That's correct. And we're all trying to find that one company that's going to be, go from a nickel a share to $20, and that doesn't happen very often. But I feel like we've identified some companies that truly have the ability to go from, say, the OTC pink market or bulletin board and graduate and elevate not only in price but the market that they're on. And we're very careful. We spend a lot of time analyzing companies every day, and we do see, we see a lot of bad companies, but we also see some tremendously companies that have a lot of potential.
If people want to get an idea of what it is you are seeing and they can subscribe to the Green Baron Report, how do they do that?
You go to thegreenbaron.com, click on any join icon. What we're doing right now is we've aligned ourselves with some other successful newsletters, and so when we're coming out with ideas, a lot of people are seeing them, and we're seeing a lot of great activity in the stocks that we're following. So I recommend taking a look at us.
The Green Baron Report, the website again is thegreenbaron.com. Matt, always a pleasure.
Nice to be on again. Thanks, Don.